What's up YouTube, Techlos back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about Hyperspin and what Hyperspin is, how to access it, how to use it, and just an overview on the functionality. And again, this video is for people who don't understand, the technicalities or the programming aspect of it and want to have options. So again, Hyperspin is a front end. And that's basically all it is. And while it's very simple, it can be very confusing and hard to program. So I'm going to go ahead and start it up here. And we'll let it start up and then we'll start talking about it. Alright, so the basics of Hyperspin are emulating games. And basically, again, about the front end part of it, what a front end means is all Hyperspin really is the layout of the arcade systems. And putting up the images, the visuals that you're seeing here, but it does nothing else. All it does is, as we move through here, you could see all these different emulators. What you're seeing now is Hyperspin. Again, it's just the front end, and when you choose something, so we'll go ahead and choose Atari 7800 here. Again, this is still Hyperspin. It's giving you the visuals, it's giving you the videos, it's just making it nice and clean, and it's just the basic layout. And once you click enter on a game, what it does is it is driven, it's a shortcut to the actual emulator that's on your computer. So you have to set the pathways for that game to open up in the emulator that's already on your computer. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to back out of here and kind of show you what I have going on my Hyperspin. Again, you're going to see, a lot of the retro gaming to mid-90s, the Jaguar, Lynx. We'll just go through some of these you might not know, but some of these are arcade emulators. So Capcom 2, Cave, ColecoVision, which is retro, Amiga, the Daphne, Dice, and we'll just kind of move through here. Game Boy Advance, Vectrix. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you kind of get what I'm talking about. These are all emulators that I have on my computer. Some of them are old. Some of them are mid-90s, and some of them are even new, like the Wii emulator. And as we move through these, you can see that, let's find something that's pretty common. So maybe we'll go down to, we got PlayStation 2. Let's go to Super Nintendo. Everybody knows Super Nintendo. So again, when I move to Super Nintendo, it kind of has your Super Nintendo Entertainment screen. We're going to go ahead and click enter on that. And you can control this with your keyboard or your joystick. So here we are with Three Ninjas, the first of my games. And as I move through and we pick different games, it's going to show you video of the game. It's going to show you information about it. And it's all just clean and looks really nice. And granted, what would be the long-term goal of having Hyperspin? It could be many things. It could be just a layout that you want to have. As you can see here in my setup, I have a home theater PC. Right now I got my PS3 wired control, but you can hook up, Xbox wireless control. And I can just start this up and use it as a console that's on my computer when I want to play games. But also people want to build arcade cabinets, and if you want to build an arcade cabinet, this would be probably the ideal, software to put on there. As far as programming, so I'm going to back out here and talk a little bit more about how this works and how you can get it. So we're going to go ahead and exit here. And I'm going to go down to the web. And I'm going to bring up, some information here on Hyperspin. So you can download the layout of Hyperspin. Again, I'm going to refer to it as the front end. You can go on to Hyperspin forums and you can download the front end yourself. And if you have somewhat of programming, I wouldn't even so much as call it programming. If you could figure out XBMC, and you know what XBMC is, this is something that you could probably do on your own. But I'll tell you right now that I'm pretty good at messing with the Androids, doing command prompts with Androids for ROMs and rooting phones. I have my XBMC home theater hooked up. I was able to do that all by myself, and I was able to get Hyperspin going and get a couple of the emulators set up, but it was just so time consuming, and there was just so many problems that I was dealing with that long term I eventually decided that I would look into where you could buy this stuff already made. And if it's a hobby that you want to mess with, that you want to do yourself, or if you're really good at this kind of thing and you feel that you can get yourself up and going to where you want to be, by all means, download it, mess with it, get it going. You can go onto Hyperspin forums, and there's paid links to get the videos and all that stuff. But for me, it was just more effective and cost effective for me to just go ahead and purchase it. Now long term, I haven't actually even purchased it yet. A friend of mine bought one, and we went half basically on what he had already purchased, and that's why I have my copy today. But I want to start, so I don't drag this out, with this gentleman right here, Chris Upchurch. He probably, to me, now I haven't purchased anything from him, but what I can say about him is that I've contacted him. He got back to me. I never followed through because I didn't have the $400 at the time that he wanted. But you can find this gentleman on YouTube, again, Chris Upchurch. I support him because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't understand the concepts. I wouldn't have been able to, get to where I'm at. And to me, it's just, I'm going to go ahead and choose to support this gentleman. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and back and say that the product that you get from him is going to be worth it or not. But I will say that my plan long term is to purchase a full system from him, because I feel that he's ahead of the game and he has basically a complete, what I would call close to a complete system. So again, you can find him on YouTube. His name is Chris Upchurch. And I am going to go ahead and give him a shout out because, again, I feel that he's been supportive too. And he's just basically on a level of, I'm here to support you. He's going to make some money off of it, which I support. But I know just from what I'm dealing with him, that if you want to purchase something from him, he will give you the customer service end of it before you make that purchase. So we're going to move on here. This is his Google Plus page. So I'm going to move on to this page here, which can be found just by doing a search, hyperspin.net. Here's one of the sites where you can find another complete, as they say, complete to them, Hyperspin project, 2 or 4 terabyte internal or external hard disks. So you have a choice, and the price is down here for whichever one that you would choose to get. So you can get a Hyperspin external or an internal, and you have some options of purchasing here. Let's move on to here. This is another one. This is the one that I believe, yes, this is the one that my friend ended up purchasing, and we went halves on it. And it was, one that, again, there was no lock or anything like that on there, so I was able to go halfers with him, and that's why I have what I have. So I have the Hyperspin Plus 85 systems emulated. Again, good, and I'm happy that I got it, but if I had the money, I would still go with the system that Chris Upchurch has, because it's more clean. It doesn't have some of the bullshit retro emulators on it, and he has just so much more functionality on there that I would say that it is worth it if you have that kind of money. And then I'm going to move on here to Rec Room Masters, and this is my long-term goal, is to go to this website and purchase one of these cabinets that are already made, and then it has a link to get these joysticks like the X arcade stick. This is actually a new one from a different company, but there is one called the X arcade stick, and it's right here, the X arcade stick, where you can get overlays and all that stuff and get yourself something that's going to be pretty neat. So let's go right here and take a look at this one. So for $2.99 you can get this, you know, half cabinet, or you can, let's see if we can get a bigger system. There you go. Half cabinet where you can mount the TV just up top, or just put it on a pedestal, and then, or if you want, you could get one that's more of a full type cabinet, or even a sit down cabinet. So I'm gonna go back to Hyperspin. Again, I hope this wasn't too much of a rant, but I got a lot of hits on my video that I did for what is XBMC, because again, you go to these videos or these websites and they talk about stuff like this, and really they go straight into like the detail or the programming, or they try to sell you something, and nobody really ever kind of gives you like the layman's, like what's going on. I really don't understand how this is working. You know, if you were just to come across this, get the explanation of how this works. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the games here to show you how cool this whole system is. I'm actually going to bring up the first one right here, which is another arcade emulator, because this one has one of the coolest games that I remember as a kid for me. And that's the cool thing about this, the retro gaming. I mean, you're going to find stuff, you know, I'm 32 years old, and I remember playing this when I was hella little, because this is even a little bit before my time. But your childhood might bring up memories of like Straw Hat Pizza, playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Konami game that was super sick back in like 95 or 93 or something like that. But for me, playing this Star Wars game was pretty sick. So So this is one of those, I forget what they're called really, but it's just super sick to play. Super fun. Reminds me of when I was a kid. Of course you can see I suck. Right now I'm playing with the keyboard because I don't have the controller mapped yet on this one. At least I don't think I do. No. So we'll back out of that one, and then I'm going to show you guys another cool one right here. This is the American Laser Games one, and this one can be played with the light gun if you have the light gun. If you buy a light gun, you can set it up. And let me turn this down a little bit so you guys can hear me. But you can actually play these games with the mouse, and it's actually pretty fun. So I'm going to show you guys. We'll go ahead and play this one. So as you can see, again, even with the one that I bought, I still have issues where it doesn't want to open up right. So this is still stuff that I have to, you know, mess with myself to be able to get it to work right. So this is kind of a good example of how this works. But we'll go ahead and play this one anyways, even though we had a little. So I'm using the mouse here, and we'll go ahead and play this one. So it normally doesn't open up like that. It usually does open in full screen, but I've been tinkering with it. Almost shot her. We'll see if I can beat this level. There you go. So that was that's the American Laser Games. Back out of that one, and I'm gonna open Hyperspin back up. So let's take a look at something else here, just to give you guys kind of an understanding too. Again, a lot of these retro ones are just a trip to play, especially when you're playing on. Let's go ahead and open up MAME. A lot of people know about MAME. So the MAME is just a port, you know, and you can see I was playing Golden Axe there, which is again from my time. So let's go ahead and open up that one. And again, another game that I used to play at Straw Hat Pizza when I was a kid and just dump hella quarters into the machine. And we'll go ahead and put some coins, press start. I'm gonna go with the OG. We got my illuminated PS3 remote. So there's a little golden axe for you. We'll scroll through some more here and just kind of show you what we got going on here. Different arcade games. And I actually couldn't even tell you how many games. I said they have 85 system, but who knows how many games I have on here. It's crazy. And it's not even the full system like I was talking about earlier. So let's move down and see if we can find anything else super interesting. A lot of these things like the Dreamcast, GameCube are super sought out by retro gamers. We got the Mega Drive, the Master System, the M2, the M3, the Sega Saturn, Sega SG-1000. Some of these systems a lot of people don't even know about, you know what I mean? And one of the ones that's probably the most interesting is the fact that we're emulating PS2. So you can play PS2 games on here. There's Crash Bandicoot. You can add it to your favorites and stuff like that. So we'll let this start up just to kind of show you, oh, you guys got a glimpse of the fro there. PS2 actually emulating, because it is hard to do just in general. If you were going to try to go online and just download the PS2 emulator and get it working, you know, my hat would be off to you, because I couldn't do it. But again, it came with this purchase. So you can see it loading up, PS2. Yeah, so that's pretty much my video for today. We'll go through and show you guys some more of the systems. Zinc, WonderSwan Color, Visual Pinball, TurboGrafx 16, that's actually TurboGrafx CD, TurboGrafx 16, some Japanese projects, Supervision, Super Graphics, Super Nintendo, Sinclair, PS2, PS1, shotgun games. I went through all the Segas already. Scum BMs, these are old systems. RCA Studio 2 Retro. Panasonic 3DO, when this thing came out, was like $699, 1993. I'll never forget that. Something I wouldn't even have been able to play back then. So I'm gonna show you guys two other things really fast that this will load PC games, so you can get PC games. Oh, that's the wrong one. That was PC Engine. PC games, so you can see like NBA 2K12, so you can directly line in PC games too. And then the last thing I want to show, which is cool in itself because it's basically another system within a system to me, is the Visual Pinball. Let's see here. Because this is super sick to me. So Visual Pinball, I mean basically different pinball cabinets all in there. So we'll move through here and let's go with Judge Dredd. Let's go for our old school cart. And it's gonna ask us to do a couple things here. Oops. Go to resume game. Alright. So basically some old school pinball. Obviously I suck. Pinball has always been hard for me. So you guys get the idea. So we'll go ahead and quit. So yeah, that's Hyperspin. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the video. Like the video. That'll help me out a lot. And come back for next time for another video. Again, this is Tech Los.